morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline 25th of March 2023. This week's headlines. Italy leaves children of same-sex parents in limbo. Punjab police step up the search for the Sikh separatist preacher who's gone missing. 2 are held after a mob rushes Sydney LGBT protesters. A mosque fire suspect is charged with attempted murders in London and Birmingham. Danish far-right leader is banned from the UK over his threat to burn the Quran in Wakefield. Johnny Hunt, a disgraced former SBC pastor, sues the denomination that he once led. Abortion pills are banned in Wyoming as a Texas judge considers his nationwide decision. Uganda's anti-homosexuality bill offers life in prison for saying you're gay. West Texas University president cancels the students' drag show, citing his religious beliefs. In 2018, Maria Silvia Fiengo and Francesca Pardi were among Italy's first same-sex couples to be registered as parents. The mayor of Milan, Giuseppe Sala, took a progressive stance and allowed children born to parents of the same gender to be acknowledged in the absence of a clear national legislation. For Silvia and Francesca and their 4 children, Margherita, twins Giorgio and Raphael and Antonio, being finally recognized as a household after years of legal challenges and discrimination was truly incredible. This week, however, what was then seen as a major victory for equality and acceptance by the LGBT community was reversed. Italy's right-wing government instructed Milan's city council to stop registering the children of same-sex parents, reigniting the debate around Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's conservative agenda. Hundreds of people protested against the government ban in Milan on Saturday. The newly elected leader of the centre-left Democratic Party, Ellie Schlein, was among them. She said her message to the Prime Minister was not to discriminate against the daughters and sons of these wonderful families. We're talking about boys and girls already growing up in our communities and going to our schools, she said. It is no longer tolerable, and these families are tired of being discriminated against. Police in India's Punjab are searching for a Sikh separatist leader who has been on the run since Saturday. Mobile internet is suspended across the state, and more than 100 of Amritpal Singh's supporters have been detained. But despite numerous roadblocks and a dramatic live-streamed car chase, they have not caught the self-styled preacher whose whereabouts are unclear. His calls for a separate homeland for Sikhs have revived memories of a 1980s insurgency in which thousands died. Amritpal Singh claims to have drawn inspiration from Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, a preacher accused by the Indian government of leading an armed insurgency for a separate Sikh homeland called Khalistan. Bhindranwale was killed in the Indian Army's storming of the Golden Temple, the holiest shrine in the Sikh religion, in 1984. On Sunday, people carrying Khalistan banners protested outside the Indian High Commission in London. Videos showed a man detaching the Indian flag from the balcony of the building. Angry Indian officials summoned the UK's Deputy High Commissioner in Delhi to protest. See this video.
वो पगोड़ा होया भज्या होया टोटल तो पंजाब च 78 ਦੇ ਆਸ-ਪਾਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਗਨਮੈਨ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਤੇੜੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਦੀ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ 'ਚ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫਰਦਰ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਸ਼ਨ ਜਾਰੀ ਹੈ
Two men have been arrested after a mob clashed with LGBT activists outside a Sydney church, Australian police say. The LGBT group said hundreds of far-right thugs punched protesters outside the church event attended by right-wing politician Mark Latham. Mr. Latham said the meeting was being held to discuss religious freedom and parental rights. The incident comes days after clashes between pro- and anti-transgender groups in Melbourne. New South Wales Police Superintendent Sheridan Waldo said peaceful protesters were set upon by a mob of about 250 people outside the church in Belfield, southwest Sydney, on Tuesday evening. Glass bottles and other projectiles were thrown at officers, and a 38-year-old man was pushed to the ground and assaulted, police said. Riot police were called in to disperse the crowd, and two men, aged 34 and 41, were arrested and charged with encouraging the commission of crimes and common assault, respectively. Superintendent Waldo told reporters she expected further arrests on Wednesday as police reviewed footage of the event. A suspect has been charged with 2 counts of attempted murder following attacks on men set alight outside mosques in Birmingham and London. Mohammed Abukar, 28, from Edgbaston in Birmingham, is alleged to have sprayed a substance onto the 2 victims in the separate incidents. One man, 82, was set alight by a mosque in Ealing, West London, on the 27th of February. Mohammed Reyes, 70, was also set on fire and seriously injured in Edgbaston on Monday. The victim in West London, named locally as Mr. Hashi, received hospital treatment for severe burns to his face and arms. West Midland Police said the suspect had engaged a man in conversation as they had both left West London Islamic Centre. Members of the mosque described the incidents as abhorrent and malicious attacks on 2 elders within our community. Mr. Hashi was released from hospital the following day and is now recuperating from his injuries, they said. As we commence the blessed month of Ramadan, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families, a spokesperson from West London Islamic Centre said. A Danish far-right politician has been banned from the UK after threatening to burn a copy of the Quran in Wakefield, Yorkshire. Security Minister Tom Tugendhat said Rasmus Paludan, founder of the anti-Islam party Stram Kurs, had been added to the UK's immigration watch list. Mr. Paludan had said that he planned to burn the religious text in a public square in the West Yorkshire city this week. It comes after 4 pupils at Wakefield School were suspended over damage to a copy of the Quran. In a video posted to Twitter, Mr. Paludan said he would travel to the city to fight back against undemocratic forces. He claimed he intended to burn the Quran on Wednesday to coincide with the start of Ramadan. He has had several previous protests in which the Islamic text was burned, with some leading to violent counter-demonstrations. In January, he burned a copy of the Quran outside the Turkish embassy in Stockholm. That protest became part of a diplomatic row between Turkey and Sweden, with Turkey now holding up Sweden's application to join NATO. The UK Security Minister told the House of Commons about his intervention after Simon Lightwood, the Labour MP for Wakefield, raised concerns about Mr. Paludan's potential visit. Mr. Lightwood said, "Far-right Islamophobic Danish politician Rasmus Paludan said he's going to travel from Denmark to Wakefield for the sole purpose of burning a Quran in a public place." Mr. Paludan was previously jailed in Denmark for his hateful and racist statements. He's a dangerous man that should not be allowed into this country. Can the Home Secretary assure me and my community that the government is taking action to prevent this? Mr. Tugendhat, in the House of Commons, said Mr. Paludan had been added to the UK's warnings index. His travel to the United Kingdom would not be conducive with the public good, and he will not be allowed access. You may remember a couple of weeks ago, 4 pupils, we reported on this, were suspended from Wakefield's Kettlethorpe High School after a Year 10 student brought in a Quran reportedly as part of a dare. The cover had been torn and some pages scuffed, but police concluded no offences were committed. A disgraced former Southern Baptist president is suing the denomination he once led, saying he was defamed by allegations that he assaulted another pastor's wife. In a complaint filed in the federal court for the Middle District of Tennessee, lawyers for the Reverend Johnny Hunt, a long-time Georgia megachurch pastor, admit that Hunt had a brief, inappropriate extramarital encounter with a married woman. But they claim the incident was consensual and that it was a private matter that should not have been made public. Some of the precise details are disputed, but at most, the encounter lasted only a few minutes and it involved only kissing and some awkward fondling, according to the complaint, which said Hunt sought counselling and forgiveness for the event afterwards, which they described as a sin. However, Hunt never disclosed the incident to the First Baptist Church of Woodstock, Georgia, where he was the pastor for 3 decades, or to the SBC's North American Mission Board, where he was a vice president until resigning in 2022. Wyoming has become the first US state to ban abortion pills after its governor signed a bill that made prescribing or selling them illegal. Violating it is punishable by up to 6 months in jail and a $9,000 fine. Women upon whom a chemical abortion is performed or attempted will not be prosecuted. As Governor Mark Gordon signed the bill on Friday, a Texas judge was considering a lawsuit that could effectively ban a common abortion pill nationwide. The Wyoming bill, which was passed by the state's Republican-controlled legislature earlier this month, makes it illegal to prescribe, dispense, distribute, sell, or use any drug for the purpose of procuring or performing an abortion. The law is scheduled to take effect on the 1st of July. People who identify as gay in Uganda risk life in prison after Parliament passed a new bill to crack down on homosexual activities. It also includes the death penalty in certain cases. A rights activist told the BBC that the debate around the bill had led to fear of more attacks on gay people. There is a lot of blackmail. People are receiving calls that if you don't give me money, I will report that you are gay, they said. The bill is one of the toughest pieces of anti-gay legislation in Africa. Homosexual acts are already illegal in Uganda, but this bill introduces many new criminal offences, as well as making merely identifying as gay illegal for the first time. Friends, family, and members of the community would have a duty to report individuals in same-sex relationships to the authorities. It was passed with widespread support in Uganda's parliament on Tuesday evening. See this video.
This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
In an address to all students, faculty, and staff at West Texas A&M University, President Walter Wendler cancelled a student drag show organised by several campus student clubs, including members of the Secular Student Alliance. While President Wendler stated that raising funds for the LGBTQ+ suicide prevention hotline was a noble effort, he falsely likened drag to blackface, claiming that the art form is misogynistic, divisive, and void of human dignity. Wendler also cited his personal religious beliefs and evoked God and the Creator multiple times in his justification for cancelling the fundraiser. The students of West Texas A&M do not support the president's actions and are signing a petition demanding the drag show should be reinstated. Drag is not dangerous or discriminatory, it is a celebration and an expression of individuals, said student senior elder on the petition. Amidst the current climate of growing anti-trans and anti-drag rhetoric, we believe that it is important now more than ever to stand together and be heard. This week's Free Thought Hour guest is Ariana Jasmine, a young Iranian Twitch TV presenter who is monitoring the protests in her homeland. Stay on this channel to find out what this is all about. And don't forget to watch Views on the News, our panel show about this very news. This has been Global Atheist News. We will be back next week. Thank you for watching.